Hey, what's going on, my fellow Sagittarius? Butch here. I am going to do the remainder of January read. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. I'm going to be using the Tarot of Dreams. And with all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what do we have? Sagittarius. January 2023. What's going on for Sagittarius? All right. The first thing that I see is there is a really, really strong connection that you're a part of. And I feel like it's something that you've been a part of. This is not new. We have the Lover's card and we have that past person. This is someone that you already know. I feel like this is someone that you have such a deep connection with. But the problem is I feel like neither one of you are admitting it. You know, I feel like there's something definitely pulling you together, but I feel like even though it's pulling you together, it's almost like a tug of war. You know, looking at the negatives instead of the positives, I feel like I feel it's such a strong feeling, and it sometimes I get these feelings and it's hard to put into words, but I'm going to try my best. I feel like in the past with other people, I feel like there was moments of vulnerability. There was moments when you wanted to believe the person, you wanted to allow them in, and you got burned for it. And it's almost like, so you doubled down. But with this person, you doubled down on the wrong person. And I feel like because we're not, because of this issue, you're both hiding how you truly feel about each other. And that's why it's not going anywhere. You know, you can feel as connected as you want to someone, but if you don't do anything about it, it's like, I feel like this person, I feel like there's a lot of chaotic energy as well. And we have the Tower card. You know, I feel like there's a lot of chaos between the two of you. I feel like there's moments when it gets heated, very heated. But I feel like when we ignore or we fight against what should come very easily to us, that energy that we should have put in a positive way comes out in a negative way. I see two very stubborn people. It's almost like they gave up on love in a sense. But they didn't. They put the persona out that they gave up on love, but I feel like you may think that you don't have to put yourself out there. You may think that you can play that's what the way that you're playing it. I feel like you can think that all you want, but in all reality, it's just causing you more stress, more anxiety, feeling of defeat. it's a matter of one, nobody wants to take the first step. And sometimes when we get hurt, it happens. I've seen this so many times that people get hurt and they kind of close off. They put a little walls up around their heart and they say, I'm never going to let anybody else in again because it hurts too damn much. And then you meet someone that is just like, okay, that's not going to work anymore. I mean, neither one of you are trusting your intuition here. It feels so right, but yet it's being portrayed as so wrong. We're hiding from the truth from each other. And like that saying goes, the truth will set you free. And that's what I see here. I feel like, there's a very passionate energy you share with each other, very, very passionate, and you're there for each other, and all the other little goodies that come with being with someone, except for the main one, the most important one, and that's being real. That's being honest. That's sharing. It's all bunched up in one little ball. When you care about someone, you're honest with them. When you care about someone, you tell them. It's all about telling the truth how you feel, and not letting them, guess. But in this case, you're both doing it to each other. I feel like it's almost like you're both standing. The mental picture I'm getting is two people standing on either side of a stream. And you want the other person to come to you. And they want you to come to them. But nobody's willing to get wet. We can just meet in the middle. Make it a party. Now, I do feel, you're both standing your ground here with that seven of wands. And I feel like there's been a little bit here and there, but I feel like it's very immature, you know what I mean? I feel like there's a little bit of knowledge back and forth, but it's acknowledging how you feel about each other, but I feel like it's never really been a commitment. It's more like very loose and, kind of putting yourself out there, but in a very safe way, if that makes sense. Some people go in and they go all in, and some people kind of put their, it's a lot of water references, but they put their toes in the water and they just feel it out, and then that's, you know what I mean? Like, and then there's some people just jump right in. But neither one of you are jumping in here. But you both think about each other. You only think about each other. You balance each other out. You're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you should be. And the sooner we realize it, the better. You can't be too good for someone. You can't lock yourself up and be next to someone. It's like you guys are, in solitaire in two different cells right next to each other, and then there's that wall that is continuously in between the two of you. But I do see them, I do see some freedom, a little light of freedom coming. And I feel like that light is gonna, it's gonna shine the light a little bit brighter on this connection. One of you is gonna break here. And I feel like once that happens, it changes everything. And it happens, especially with people that have been hurt before by other people. You can only get hurt so much in your mind. You think you can only get hurt so much, and then you gotta, give up. But, your mind might say, I'm giving up, but your heart hasn't said that yet. But of all the things I'm seeing, this tug of war and this chaotic energy, at the end of the day, I feel like there's a very protective energy. Like, I feel like you protect each other. You're there for each other. And that's only going to get better. But you got to accept it. You got to own it, and you got to embrace it. You know, letting go of that, and seeing things for what it is, taking that look in the mirror and realizing, you know, if all those other relationships that I was in, if they would have worked, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. Don't hold future relationships accountable for past relationships, because you'll never get anywhere. This is a connection that needs to be nurtured. And if you nurture it, from what I see, you know, all your cups will be filled. You know, right now, they're not hurting you. You are. You're hurting yourself. You know, not accepting this gift that's in front of you is causing both you pain unnecessarily. I mean, I feel like you're just overthinking the shit out of this. You know, and I feel like this, you've been doing so much work keeping yourselves away from each other, or keeping yourselves apart, that, I mean, it's going to be a lot of work to get back on track, but I feel like you have it in you. You know, like I said, I see that communication coming, and I feel like there's a lot of work to do, but it's worth it. I mean, I see a strong foundation. I mean, we have the family card as well. We have the sun card. You know, a lot of happiness. But like I said, I feel like up until now, it still feels light. And even though I feel like you have a connection, this connection isn't new. But it still feels like a new relationship in the way that you go about it. You know, we haven't ascended to the next level of this relationship when we should have. Doesn't mean you can't, because when I see you can. But it's like, think of it as you take a box out in the yard and you do all the work to dig a big, giant, deep hole, and you put that box in there. And in order to get that box back, you got to do the work again. You know, so I mean, you did the work to get you to where you're at now. Now it's time to dig out of that damn hole. And they'll dig with you. And it'll go twice as fast. You know, all hope isn't lost here. It's only lost when you finally give up. And I feel like when you give up, you know, sometimes we just have to surrender to the feelings that we have for someone else. But like I said, this chaotic energy you feel with this person is because you're both fighting against it. When there's something real between the two of you and you're fighting against it, it's like swimming against the current. You get tired quicker. It's going to be harder. And it's unnecessary. You can flow with the current and it'll be easy peasy. Like I said, I do feel like this is moving forward. I do see the stalemate being broken and finally being able to move forward and accept that the person that's standing before you is a person that's supposed to be there. You know, that you are in the place that you're supposed to be. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Like I said, with that world card, there's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're drawn together. But as long as we're fighting against it, that energy is going to come out in a more negative way. You know, when there's something between two people and they ignore it, you know, instead of letting it flow, it starts to do the opposite. You know, when a certain energy is ignored, that energy can turn and then be dispersed in a different way. You know, think of it as like when you're mad at, when someone we all know those people that when they get mad at one person, they take it on everybody else. That's similar to what this is. When you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then there's repercussions. And the repercussions is that energy that you should be putting into each other is now being used as a weapon to keep each other apart. I hope that makes sense. With this person, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have some Capricorn there as well. But yeah, sometimes we're with the right person, even though it doesn't feel. If it doesn't feel right, sometimes you're with the right person, but it doesn't feel right. But that there's something else going on here. And sometimes when we get hurt, like I said, you're with someone and they treat you like shit, or they cheat on you, or they abuse you, or whatever. The next relationship, some people can hold that person accountable for that. Looking for red flags, or, especially when the red flags don't exist. But in turn, you're holding that person accountable for someone else's actions. But what that does is it's not hurting the other person as much as hurting yourself. If somebody treats you bad and you keep messing up relationships after that because you don't want to be vulnerable, or you don't want someone else to ever have the chance to do that to you, you're letting that past person that hurt you continuously hurt you. Sometimes we're with people that hurt us. And I remember reading a book a long time ago, and I can't remember what it was called for the life of me, but pain is necessary. It balances. There's a balance in the universe. There's love, there's hate, there's dark, there's night, there's day. And it's just, if we didn't have one, the other one wouldn't be as good. If it was never dark, we wouldn't appreciate the sunlight. We wouldn't appreciate the sun coming up. We wouldn't appreciate those type of things. So it's something I feel like we all gotta suffer through. But there is a meaning to it all. I went through a very loveless childhood. And I know a lot of people had a lot worse childhoods than I did, but I just never felt loved, and from my immediate family, and I still don't, but I found it somewhere. And that's the thing. Now with my kids, I show them love. I probably even overcompensate. But if I wasn't treated like that when I was a kid, then I wouldn't treat my kids the way I treat them now. So sometimes we have to go through the struggles in life. Sometimes we have bad shit that happens to us, but we can't linger in that bad shit. I'm just going on. I'm sorry. I just felt this reading. I just felt like, sometimes you can be right next to the right person and you're not letting them in because of whatever bullshit that happened to you. But you can't accept that. You can't expect them to let you in if you're not letting them in. It works both ways. It's like an emotional tug of war. But there's no winner in tug of war when it comes to emotions. That's what I have for you. Be good. Take care. Stay safe.